engineer of the greatest Stanley Cup party that we've ever seen and presentation, Reno Cerbon, owner and chef at Heritage Restaurant in Fort Lauderdale, where this was great. I'll let you tell the story.
So first off, good morning, you two fucking knuckleheads. Good morning, both of you. It's actually funny. He calls me up in the morning. He goes, hey, we're going to be in Fort Lauderdale today. He's like, would it be a chance that we could get to Heritage? Now listen to this. I actually told my brother, I'm like, fully booked tonight, guys. I'm like, I'm fully booked tonight, guys.
You said I'm fully booked.
I'm kind of
fully booked.
Keep
so
it
like,
up.
and he goes, oh man, he's like, all right, whatever. He's like, let me call you back. So Bill Zito's good friends with, there's another restaurant around town called Lubie. They have a nice big outdoor space. Like, I'll tell you what, go over there and I'll just stop by and just want to see you and the family. And I had a little bit of time during my rush, and I just snuck over there because I just want to hang out with my family. And as we're there, me and Bill Zito are talking, and he goes, yeah, this is fun, right? Cheers, cheers, cheers. He goes, I was sure you have to bring this fucking thing to your place. And I was like, what? And I was like my brother, he's like, yeah. He's like, we're going to go. He's like, we're going to surprise you, but let's go. And I was like, fuck. So I run back over there, and I'm like, holy shit. First, I'm waiting for my brother, and I'm like, all right, I think I have a couple minutes. And as I'm like thinking I have a couple minutes, I see him walking right across the street with this fucking Stanley Cup. And sure enough, since people saw him, they were standing up, applauding. It was such a beautiful interaction between him and fans. People were going nuts.
Wow.
They didn't care. Let me say about the prospect. We were thinking about all kinds of things to do, but what we really wanted to do was the guy who watches the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
Sitting there, we're laughing about what we're going to do, and the guest goes, Reno, put pasta in it. Put pasta in it. And I was like, I know it's sterling silver. Can I put pasta in it? You know, I don't want to ruin it. They go, you do whatever you want today.
Whoa.
Like, fuck it. We'll put bolognese in it. So we ate pasta and beef off the Stanley Cup. Listen, everyone's drinking out of it. Everybody's doing shots out of it. I don't know. Let's see pasta out of that bitch.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Brilliant, sheer brilliance on the part of Reno Cerbon, putting the pasta in the Stanley Cup. And having Roberto Luongo with a fork while he's grating cheese over it. Signature moment. Did you not feel it, Lubie? I think you sense that there was a little bit of a different aura, an elevated aura to what was already a good vibe. Could that be the name of a song? Let's put that together and we'll put that on our jazz album.
Good vibe.
An elevated...
It's not so great.
Good vibe at Heritage. Right? Not feel that in any way. And then, think about consolidating the whole thing into a level of magnificence in terms of having a good feeling about a place. Luongo himself walks in there with like the entire coaching staff. Unbelievable. From the Florida Panthers, a championship caliber team, which I hope you guys are feeling like champs today. Good morning, everybody. Good to be with you here. We just had a little technical disaster on our other project. Wow, it's amazing. Off to a day of pain already, Louie, and we're only at like 8:09 in the morning. But good to have you guys with us. And I'm Jeff DeForest, of course. You guys are familiar with the whole process here. And that is Vladimir Putin. Mike Lubie Lubitz. I don't know. Yeah, I love your optimism. I don't totally share it. I don't know. What the ultimate outcome will be.
I'm gonna stop fighting with people. People have preconceived notions, and it doesn't.
I think you're a little extreme. In a positive direction. Others are being extreme negatively, but
I haven't heard anything negative about it. He juxtaposed two names. During the day in the NATO speech, he said Zelensky instead of Putin. He said Putin instead of Zelensky.
Could you make a bigger mistake, though? Think about it for a second here.
Oh,
you're introducing Zelensky as Vladimir Putin
for 5 minutes, though. He had just been talking about Putin.
Yeah, well, this is the problem.
But that's what we all see. I don't like this because I'm 41 years old, and there will be tons of times on a streamer where 100 people are watching me, where you ask me some shit.
Get out of here. You come up with some obscure, you come up with like Phil Lynn, some obscure second-string shortstop for the Yankees.
All the time. I struggle all the time. At 41 years old. This dude is 81 years old. He just, by the way, people who have been covering him since he was a young senator say he's done this for 40 fucking years. So,
well, maybe it was time to hang it up then.
Maybe, but they didn't. And he became president, and he's still president now, and he's doing a fucking great work. Inflation's now 0. Inflation after COVID and Donald Trump being president, where the world's a disaster with inflation, by the way. Our inflation's
no, the alternative. Listen. I'm voting for Biden, even if he's a corpse. I don't care, and he continues to run. I think it is a fair question, though. That all of these different people are looking at and saying, and I don't know that these performances, because not everybody's like you, where you realize there's a giant danger lurking out there. And one that is so onerous, so hideous, so I mean, it's incomprehensible that anybody would want to be in favor of the guy that now says he knows nothing about Project 2025. But and you're looking at that. The Communist Manifesto was more favorable to the general public, wasn't it? Than than this thing. I mean, what the hell are we talking about here? So yeah, it doesn't matter to me. You don't have to convince me about what I'm going to do, Libby, and I'm going to encourage everybody to do the same.
I think people are full of shit. Like, I think they never wanted, and that's fine. I didn't want Biden either. I was okay not having Biden, but
I didn't want him to be the candidate the first time around.
He didn't.
I thought, how is it that out of all the people that there are in the Democratic Party or whatever, that could even express, views that were counter to having a dictatorship emerging, and the hideous nature of the Supreme Court that was put together by this guy. I mean, I didn't think he could do that much damage, but wow, if it happens again, and the people that are in favor of it, to me, I mean, are just flat out of their mind. But it doesn't matter. I mean, I didn't care for Biden. I thought he was the most boring of candidates the first go around. Maybe he did some good. Let's hope so. But wow, I don't know that I used this example earlier, and maybe you've had this happen where the other guy, it turned out he was right, and so you're at a ball game, and there's one guy left, and he's hitting 179 on the season. And it's not even, we're not talking about Schwarber. We're talking about some schleppy Bud Harrelson like a non-hitting shortstop. Have we had a bunch of those here with the Marlins? Is that the nature of the position? Is that what they look for, the scouts? Let's find a guy who is a suspect in the field and can't hit. We did have Miggy for a while. He's still playing. Can you believe that? He's still the starting shortstop for the Dodgers, Miggy Rojas. Did you realize that, Lubie? I mean, with a team that many feel is going to go on and win the World Series this year, Miggy Rojas is the starting shortstop.
Wow. Good for him. That's good.
Yeah, you have to feel good for him, right? It's surprising. I don't know. You think it's luxury tax relatable that the Dodgers can't go out and buy a shortstop somewhere? And I guess no. He's in there for Mookie Betts. That's what it is, right? Isn't Betts hurt right now? That's the deal. Okay, so that's why I saw Miggy. Okay.
I mean, I don't know, but I don't think he's starting.
He's got to be relegated to the. Get out of here. He says he was replacing a fucking guy that's a candidate for the MVP, and I'm touting the fact that's how uninformed we are on this program here. But I did see Miggy. I felt good about that. And then I watched the Dodgers got swept away by the Philadelphia Phillies. Who is this? Dave Dombrowski overlooked as one of the great executives in baseball history? Or, I mean, how would you characterize Dombrowski? How is it that he put the Phillies? The Phillies were just kind of meandering through like, a stage where they had good teams and they kept thinking they should be better. And then Dombrowski comes in there and they're like in the series every year. It's amazing.
Yep, they're great. That's so funny. Wherever Dombrowski goes, those teams always consistently compete.
Now, does he just kill him? I mean, does he, load up so heavily for the present that the future is... I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Marlins, you can't really say anything about Dombrowski in that situation. That was an unusual situation. What happened to the Tigers after he left there? They suck.
Disaster.
Yeah.
Disaster.
Right. Maybe he's a franchise killer.
Well, when he leaves, yeah. I mean, that's why you keep him. The Phillies sort of were in the doldrums between success.
They were also Reds. They definitely were.
They instantly started winning again, and they win every year.
Yeah, unbelievable. And the best record in baseball. Pretty amazing. They just swept the Dodgers out from under the rug. All right, so you were in favor of what happened last night. You think it was good. The questions did seem to be set up. I was sort of impressed that during that period of time, even though he was speaking very softly and slowly, and you kept waiting for him to say something that didn't make any sense, he did manage to discuss international economics in a way, Lubie, that would make you think, geez, I really need to read the book, right? But before you take the test. So that was good. I mean, that was encouraging. You're right, Lubie.
It's
It
not
was a
about right
brilliant
or
night.
wrong. It's not. Look, it sucks that he did the thing with the names at the beginning because the Republicans got their moment and the Uber left and the Uber big donors who have some weird wet dream about putting in candidates that we all know can't work. Had their moment to like stand on and jump for joy.
How about Clooney comes out and it's big news?
Yeah, he just didn't do it again. It was all spontaneous. The entire thing was spontaneous. I don't know what you people are talking about. He didn't have a teleprompter. The questions were tough questions that were biting questions. They wrote it down because they couldn't remember their questions, even though the 81-year-old had nothing to go off of and did everything. It was 100. Okay, it's stupid to talk about.
It would have been foolish to program him with answers based on the fact that it didn't work in the debate.
No matter what he does,
Yeah.
people are going to, oh, there's the thing. Okay, it's fine. So to me, I'm not going to yell at Mayo when Mayo bring. Oh, by the way, New York Times is literally in the tank against Biden. Has been for like a year because he turned them down for an interview, and it's openly known. So whatever happens with Biden, the Times literally.
Oh, they're trashing this guy.
Well, that's what that's what Mayo doesn't understand. Like
they're further out there than the Post, which was always on that side.
Not your Post. The Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, and MSNBC have had like a concerted effort to push him out. For whatever, this is before the fucking debate. Like, this is nothing to do with the debate. Then the debate happened. They're like, oh, there it is. Now we can really do it. But he's done nothing since. Like, he's talked 23 times. Trump hasn't talked at all. Trump is playing fucking golf and talking to literally every dictator around the world. Biden has done.
Oh, no, he has no position, no platform, except that everything sucks.
So that's the thing. When do we do that? When do we actually compare the two? Not just talk about Joe.
I still don't get the feeling that America is a third world country at this point.
No, we're not.
So it seems like an odd characterization for a guy that supposedly just a few years ago was making America great again and achieved all of his goals and managed to so overwhelmingly have people feeling like this was the greatest thing that ever happened that they couldn't wait to vote him the fuck out. I mean, let's move on from that. We got the professor coming up with a big board. That's going to be a lot of fun. Now, we want to get into some laughter here as we get into the weekend. We had, I understand you mentioned Mayo. He had a beauty, man. Yesterday, hitting an $80-some-odd horse in the Schuylerville, the opening day stakes race on the Saratoga card, which, look, I mean, strange things happen there. It's fantastic. You have to love it. There's, it's like a serendipitous time for a degenerate gambler because even if you're losing, you're thinking, yeah, but I'm losing in the name of art. It's, one of those things. It takes you back to the old Great Gatsby type of concept about when I first started going to Hialeah Park. I couldn't wait to get there. And then if you had a big day like a Flamingo Day, I guess you had this at Gulfstream for the Florida Derby as well, and it's still going on. But, yeah, I mean, you couldn't be in a more beautiful, pristine setting where you thought literally you had stepped into some brilliant work of American art. And so that's kind of the feeling that you get at Saratoga, and it doesn't matter. I don't know. Does that ease the pain of losing your money, Lubie? What do you think? If you were getting your ass kicked at Saratoga, would you feel any differently than if you had lost that money on the fourth race at Beulah Park?
You feel better?
You shouldn't.
You feel better, but I feel like exactly.
Well, it was Toga. I took a shot. So it's good. I mean, and that's a good omen. You want to get off to a good start the first time that you dabble in. I didn't make any wagers yesterday at Saratoga, so I haven't. I'm 0 for 0 for the meat. Kind of like, when you see a Marlin hitter coming to the plate late in a ball game when you desperately need a base hit, and you see that the guy's hitting a robust 171, and he's your starting catcher. And you're thinking, didn't we get rid of that guy, Stallings? That was a very likable guy who was hitting like a $190 for his tenure here. It's not like we got Yogi Berra behind the plate, and at one time, right, we had JT Real Muto.
Yes.
My God, Louie.
Yes, they had an all-star lineup. Literally, everyone was.
Don't get me started. Yeah.
And they needed pitchers, so then they went and got pitchers who all are hurt every year and don't have hitters now at all either. Yes,
here's something we were right about. I did the math after last night's routine loss to the Houston Astros on the road, 6-3. Mm-hmm. The Marlins would now have to go 47-22 to push on the over/under of 79.
Think they're gonna do something they haven't done all year long.
47-22. I mean, I couldn't feel any better about that. We were talking about Paul Skenes, that there are certain things that you're right about, and it's not like it takes a genius to be right about it.
Yeah.
But if you thought that Paul Skenes coming out of college, last year's College Baseball World Series, and the dominating performances there, did you not think that he was leaving spring training with the Pittsburgh Pirates, who chose him number 1 overall, and that he was going to be just fine in the big leagues? This guy had unhittable stuff. He throws 20 pitches a game at over 100 miles an hour. I mean, holy Aroldis Chapman. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And then has some stuff on top of that, right? You got a little movement on some of those pitches. My God. No, and he had a no-hitter last night, 7 innings. How do you feel about yanking the guy?
Look, okay. Well, first of all, you were on him. I know early. You were on him when a lot of baseball people already loved him. And there's a reason, like your first year when you get brought up, there's something special about you. And he's not only lived up, it's like LeBronish, where his expectations were insane, and somehow he's exceeded his expectations.
Yeah.
I don't watch baseball at all, and I know how well he's doing. That's how good he is.
Sub 2 earned run average. He struck out like 800 guys already. It's amazing. It really is.
It's a weird thing because I understand not wanting to break the glass, right? Like having this beautiful piece of artwork and you put the glass around it and you don't want to have anyone touch it. And pictures are literally that. And I get that. But if we go back in history to the last 20 years, the pitchers that have been most coddled still got hurt. Mark Pryor still got hurt.
Strasburg, I mean, that was another one.
Barry Wood still got hurt. Strasburg literally was coddled more than anyone in the middle of
remember his agent would only let him pitch 50 innings a year?
A playoff race. They took him out.
Take him out of World Series games in the second inning. Yeah.
To me, like, the guys, if they're going to get hurt, they're going to get hurt. I know you don't want, especially they have all this stuff with the science and the math and the numbers. But then you're openly saying you just don't care about stats at all anymore? Like, it's a fucking no-hitter.
Wouldn't he get hurt in the minors, though, too?
I just don't understand.
I mean, if he's throwing, his pitching is his pitching, right?
Yes. That's my thing. Is like, I don't know. You can hold him to 100 or less. That's the new game, but it just sucks to me to see a guy like fucking killing it.
Well, he might have had to throw another 35, 40 pitches even if he was mowing them down.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Is the guy going to be in a game anymore for 135 pitches? What are we talking about? Denny McClain here? I don't think so.
It just sucks.
They don't do this shit anymore. And yet the weirdest thing about it is we knew nothing. Tommy John was an actual guy. A lot of people think that, he was, some doctor. But but nobody had heard about this kind of stuff, and that was alchemy when they first proposed it. I remember reading about they're going to do this like weirdo surgery, and it was on Tommy John, of course, and sure enough, it worked somehow. Now they've obviously made medical advances in all areas of the medical field for the most part, except for the fact that now whatever doctor you go to, they're afraid to make a call. They're worse than having Gene Steratore analyzing an instant replay. Well, I don't know, Jim. I tell you what, it could go either way. Is there enough evidence to overwhelmingly convince people to overturn the call there? Yeah, the fucking guy dropped the ball on the ground. What are you talking about, Gino? There it is. It made a mark. Unbelievable. But tough. To make a call sometimes on that. No, we were right, though. I mean, this was good. And the inside information turned out to be right on the money. The talk now is the trade of Jazz Chisholm, which I would welcome. I don't think Jazz Chisholm is worth worrying about. I really don't. Now he's your most exciting player, believe it or not. And the guy is hitting I think he's hitting 258 this year, 248 for his career. He has 60 homers in 7 seasons. I mean, numbers that aren't exactly like Hall of Fame stature.
Well, until this year, he was hurt. He's usually always hurt. That's the funny thing is he's finally not really hurt that much. He just sucks.
I mean, he is exciting at times. In both directions. He'll make a buffoon-like gaffe just as frequently as he'll make some brilliant play, and you're saying, "My God, the guy was an infielder. I mean, what a catch!" But. Yeah, so they're talking about dealing him. You're wondering what the fuck? I mean, where did these guys go? They have completely disappeared. Bruce Sherman and this William, don't call me Peter Bendix guy.
Peter Bendix. It's Peter. Don't call me William.
It may as well be William Bendix. It really should. That was. Where are these guys? Do they have? I mean, do they even show up at games anymore? Bruce Sherman was a prominent figure last year. I actually started to like the guy a little bit as the owner of the team. Didn't you?
I didn't hate him. I don't know if I've ever liked him. I know he's so
I mean,
good.
look, everybody says he's broke. I don't know. Well, what defined broke for me?
I mean, not a billionaire. Right? He doesn't. He has to pinch pennies, and owners in sports don't. They know they're going to make a shitload of money at some point, either from TV contracts or when they sell. At some point, they're going to make a crap load. You spend. That's why
Could the Marlins? Sorry to interrupt you there, but could the Marlins be the first franchise to be sold for less than their purchase price?
No, as bad as
Years after a new benchmark was established, as is always the case.
They have a stadium, and the TV deals are always strong. For the Marlins, they're not actually, but for baseball overall, so you get the trickle down money, and I mean, they would still make money, but yeah, Bruce Sherman's not helping their value at all. That's for sure.
Where is this guy? He's done a vanishing act. And the Bendix guy, it literally looks like what is it? Jonah Hill looks just like him. And Billy Bull, he really does. When you see him speaking, you would swear that they just took a movie clip and put it in there and said, "Well, here's a little State of the Union from our president of baseball operations." We used to buy the bullshit, though. We did, Lubie. We got hoodwinked a little bit. I remember doing some very glowing. Look, it was spring training, right? So, is it fair? Are you doing your journalistic duty and serving your audience by just blowing hyperbole towards players that you know are ultimately going to suck? No, really, I don't know. Think about it. I still can picture us at the last time we did it at spring training up there in Jupiter. And Jeter walked by. We took a picture with Jeter. He wouldn't come on the shows, which, that was a bad sign.
That's
wasn't
weird.
it?
Yeah, it's weird.
If he was more guarded about his interviews than your man, Joe Biden.
If you know Biden will talk no matter what, even if he's going to be excoriated every time.
Yeah.
Jeter, if you know your team and you're confident in your plan, you should talk all day. I mean, that's what most execs look. Zito doesn't talk a lot, but I don't know. People ask for him, but
he's actually extremely interesting. Yeah,
but when people ask for him, he talks. Like he's like old school and gruff and a tough dude. So I don't know if he's.
Well, we'll have to make an effort. I don't know. Will it be harder to contact the Panthers about getting guys like that on shows? We'll have to do it.
Maybe, but I'd love to have him on.
Maybe in the summertime, we could do
with Reno too. I think that's a nice go between.
Oh, that's right. We'll drop Reno's name.
No, I'll have Reno set us. I mean, he talks to these.
Oh, Reno, yeah, he could set it up for us. Okay, so we can do that. We'll pull that off for you guys.
So I don't know. Look, I get it. Not every GM's talking all the time. They're GMs for a reason. Fine, but like if you're at Michael Hill talked to us every year, and he was supposedly a buffoon.
But an uplifting guy. I mean, he made you feel good about this bullshit.
Every year we talked with Michael Hill, good or bad. And look, even David Sampson, the fucking scumbag he was, we stopped asking for him, but we had him like 2 or 3 times. I just stopped. I couldn't stand him, and they stopped forcing him. It
reminded me of listening to Eric Trump.
It was very much listening to someone that just says the fucking bullet points and doesn't listen to anything you say, and it was just annoying. So we stopped having him on, but we could have had him on anytime we wanted him. I just didn't have any interest in having him on.
He did have some personality, though, surprisingly, because he did respond to our question about how he was able to keep a straight face while Bryant Gumbel was giving him those looks.
No, he had a sense of humor, and that's why Lebertard's had him on for fucking years, because he actually can be, I guess, I don't know.
Well, he's a very successful podcaster, right?
Yes,
he's a baseball analyst, believe it or not.
And he can bullshit.
Yeah.
But when you asked him about his team and the moves and all that shit, he talked out of his ass, and he was a fucking scumbag. Like, we didn't need to talk to him anymore, but at least we could. Like, these guys, usually you get them at least once a year if you want them. Like,
I would think, and the Panthers, I mean, that was one of the nice aspects of it. They seemed far more accessible, even in a parade situation, to the connection with the fan, the one-on-one connection that used to be there. It was the very fiber of the enjoyment of sports, right? The Mick would walk by and sign the top of your Cracker Jack box. I think I did have a Mickey Mantle signature on the top of a greasy Cracker Jack box where you had to find something for the guy to sign right away. So you went ahead, poured all of the Cracker Jack on the ground, and just said, "Hey, Mick." Wasn't worth much, I don't think. I mean, you won't find this at like some auction in New York. What is it, Christie's? Well, we have a Mickey Mantle's signed Cracker Jack box, a little grease stain in the middle of the M. But you can clearly see it's the Mick signature, and it's been authenticated by our man over there. And then they show you, there's some schlep on the side there that said, yeah, it's real. Professor, where are we at with the professor? Is he coming?
He's not here yet.
Okay.
We'll reach out to him and see if he's awake.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, he could be out cold, right? Wasn't the professor all in on the ESPYs? That would seem like a show that the professor. I wouldn't even be surprised if that was a subject on the big board today. Things to despise about the ESPYs. What did you watch any of that? You know what was great, Lubie? I missed it all because I didn't realize it was actually on ABC. It wasn't on ESPN. So I ended up watching some 9-year-old in the X Games doing some death-defying act on a skateboard, which you're asking yourself, where are the parents of this kid? We know that the X Games were designed so ESPN could get somebody killed on live television, which did they not accomplish that at some point? Wasn't it some guy on a bobsled or?
Yes, I think he did the thing and he did not make it.
Snowmobile, yeah, like went off the side of a cliff of the Aspen Mountains.
Yep. 100%.
And you're like, okay, they did it. You'd rather be a deckhand on Deadliest Catch than do some of the stuff that they're doing there. Unbelievable. But the ESPYs, I did see, of course, highlighted heavily. This must be one hell of a fucking moneymaker, huh? Lubie, what do you think? How much of the I hate to impugn the integrity of the charitable efforts there because I think it probably has done a lot of good in the honor and name of the Jimmy V Foundation. Would you say that of all the you can take all the shots you want on ESPN and too much Stephen A. Smith, whatever. I mean, that would have to be something that you would consider to have been a genuine good accomplishment. Or am I getting a little soapy about this whole thing?
I think they make a ton of money for cancer research, which is great and huge.
Yeah,
that's great. I haven't watched the ESPYs in years. I mean, we talked about it yesterday.
Oh no, I mean it's hard to stomach. It really is.
And Venus were hosting. Like, what the fuck I care about? I mean, I actually like them as athletes, but them hosting is weird.
Yeah, not exactly. I mean, Venus was more gracious, it seemed, than Serena, who had zero in terms of connection with the common person, right? So yeah, it'd be an odd choice, although deserving from a sporting standpoint. Nobody would question that. Greatest female tennis player of all time. Which, by the way, too, I mean, Wimby. How about the Joker? Gets a free pass into the semifinals now, and he has to take on the young Italian rising. I don't know that this guy is such a rising star. He's been around for a little while, and I'm not sure that he will ever eclipse what's being done by some of his countrymen, in particular Yannick Sinner. But this guy, Musetti, is pretty good on this kind of offbeat stuff like grass and red clay. So he takes the Joker on today, which...
Oh, wow.
That's a tough out for Musetti, but maybe a step up in company for what the Joker's been facing. But pretty remarkable. Djokovic, if he wins this thing, are you kidding me? That would be his 8th Wimbledon.
That's crazy.
Now, on the other side of the board there, I mean, he's going to have to get by the winner of the other semifinal, which is Carlos Alcaraz.
That should be a bloodbath, though. And what, Medvedev?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, Alcaraz, I want to say that he hasn't come back to the level... I mean, he's playing obviously well enough to win Grand Slams, which he won the French Open, but and might go French and Wimbledon back to back. But I for some reason don't think he's playing as well as he was like maybe a year or so ago. And that being said, he takes on Medvedev, who is like the mad alchemist out there. And when you look at Medvedev, you would find him probably his form in no fundamental book of tennis things that you really need to do to be successful. If you were taking lessons from Medvedev, you would say, who is this fucking clown? It's weird. I mean, like Ichabod Crane kind of look to him. And then on top of that, like he's a psych out artist. He's always doing things. Not quite, it's not like Nick Kyrgios,
I was gonna say,
who was openly like saying, hey, listen, go fuck yourself after every shot. But he does all these weird things, Medvedev, and he admits to it. He admits that this is what he's doing, that he's like toying with people. He kind of like what was Dennis Rodman to Alonzo Mourning. He's that way with the guy Zverev. He just has a way of getting under his skin and finding ways to win matches as a result. So that'll be interesting. That's happening today. That's going to be good. And then the women's final has this rising star. I mean, she's delightful to watch. She really is. Paolini. Paolini.
She's young. She looks super young.
Yeah, I think she's 20 years old.
Okay, she looked really young, and I was like, "How old is this?"
But she plays with the kind of spirit that makes you, feel good about sports, doesn't it, Lubie?
Yes.
I mean, it's an old throwback thing to say. I mean, it's kind of corny, but when you're watching her, you're like, wow. I mean, it's exciting to watch this girl play and the exuberance she has, and it covers the court. I mean, a tremendous defensive player also. And she's going to go against a very. And I thought about taking a sniff on this, Lubie. That this is bad. See, this is more of a sign of dementia than anything that Joe Biden could do by saying, "Hey, you know what? I really love my vice president, Donald Trump. This fat fuck."
That'd be great if you said it like that. That could be an asshole.
Oh my God! They had, CNN had to come back and counter with something, to make up for the Biden mistakes, which was fine. And so they showed any number of times where Trump has just completely misidentified somebody. Yeah.
What do you mean? Trump days before said, "My son's wife's a wonderful girl," and people are like, "Your son's not married." And then the shark attack shit. I forgot about the cancer windmills, which isn't a thing. Like,
this guy's nuts. I mean, he's a lunatic.
Look, they're not on the same level, and I get it. Trump's always been like this. So if you're always like this, it's okay. You just
right. I mean, he's just showing you that dementia somehow is appealing to people.
All right, it's fine. I don't want to fight with him.
Look at the people that watch this show, Mr.
Yeah,
Putin.
exactly. But yeah, I don't know.
All right, we're going to come back with more. The professor could be a no-show. Okay, yeah, no, I'm not counting on that at this point.
There was no late sports, so there was no sports yesterday, and I left him yesterday at like 8:30, and he was all late.
Yeah. This whole Prince Harry thing, does that bother you when people, just shamelessly going ahead and groveling, for anybody to consider this important by throwing guys like that up there as the the Courage Award or whatever? And now you couldn't help but get inspired by this Steve Gleason thing. I will say that. That whole story, the guy that was on the Saints and
the Saints
ended up with Lou Gehrig's disease. And wow, I mean, what an inspiration that guy is. Unbelievable. So that's good. And you follow it up by throwing Prince Harry up there, which had to include, was that prescribed by Meghan Markle, the number of close-ups they had to have of Meghan Markle while Prince Harry was giving a speech? I don't even think they showed Prince Harry. Oh, he's not Prince Harry. He's like the Harry formerly known as Prince, right? But I don't know. That's really reaching, is it not? I can see why they do it. I mean, obviously, it's going to attract more of a general audience than.
Yeah, we talk.
Yeah.
Was Harry there? I didn't watch.
He received an award as.
He got Prince Harry to walk up on stage of
the Pat Tillman Award of all things.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they. Well, look, the Caitlyn. Whatever. She
won everything. Yeah.
Wasn't a woman, not Caitlin Clark. Bruce, Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah.
For like 15 minutes, and she won courageous woman of the year, or whatever the fuck. Like that
most courageous person in sports.
Women and transgenders were like, yeah, this is a load of garbage.
Oh, what a setup that was! Get out of here. I mean, at the time, Jenner's on the cover of every, grocery store magazine. I mean.
It's the middle of the summer. There's no sports, so they put it on. And again, I used to watch. I was wrong. I guess it used to be in February.
Conceptually, I mean, it has its merits.
I used to love it.
Yeah.
It's become. They've tried to make it a really big deal, and it went the other way for me.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much glitz and glamour, no?
Yeah,
but it's made for TV. That's the way TV is right now, right? I mean, do you think all of these schleps that are groveling at the feet of the Bachelorette are always impeccably dressed and on their most romantic of mind frames at all times? No, of course not. They're thinking, hey, this flaming I don't know. They had like rats crawling in the background of the Bachelorette. Did you see that?
No, I haven't watched any of these shows.
I just saw it on a clip. They had a highlight as those rats, and literally rats are crawling by. Was that a sign? Or were we watching a Hitchcock film? Unbelievable. All right, we're going to get out of here for a few minutes. We'll come back with more. I don't know that we got into anything of significance, except that I'm bitching that I didn't bet Ludwig Aberg, who was atop the leaderboard. I think he was like 16-1. He might have even been 20-1 to win this thing. Golf's a good bet, Lubie, if you have any kind of an inclination for it. There's still 2+ rounds to go. And on these Scottish courses, Well, he seemed like the kind of nondescript European douchebag, although he's relatively young to have the level of acclaim that he's already achieved worldwide. I mean, we know about him, Luby. I know you hadn't heard of him, but
I never heard of him. No, never. I give you credit. You're lying. You're a weirdo golf guy. There's one thing you're good at is.
Isn't it strange that I have some kind of, demonstrated instinct for this? Because the last time we were right was that Martin Keimer thing, and that was 10 years
You do it
ago.
every time. You just don't put money on it or haven't hit since Keimer, but you'll bring up random ass fucking. They're not always Euros, Asians, whatever.
Yeah.
I've never heard of any of them, and they compete till like Sunday.
Yeah.
Fuck did Defo find that guy?
They're in it. Yeah, I mean, you get your money's worth at a ride. If that's what you're thinking of in terms of gambling as entertainment, did I get my money's worth? I would say this is true of our good friend Mike Mayo. He gets his money's worth because it's all like Larry David type of anxiety.
Oh, gee, this guy.
That's what he eats up.
This guy's 12 under, and he's leading through both rounds.
No, it's disgusting. When I saw this result today,
12 under, and he shot back-to-back 64s. Who the fuck is this guy in the fucking Open?
This is the Scottish Open, though.
Open.
Okay,
Not the
yeah.
actual,
This is not the.
What is the Scottish Open? Where the fuck did they? They're not playing that at Jacaranda.
No, this is some bullshit links course where you putt the ball from 300 yards away.
Shooting back-to-back 64s,
and then it goes up a mound, down a mound, into a moat. All of a sudden, it really is like the old Larry Bird, Michael Jordan commercial.
Like, look at the leaderboard; it's a bunch of fucking randoms. Like,
it's all these European, nondescript European schmanks. It really is. You have no idea who these guys are.
I don't know any of these names.
Aberg, though, had established himself. I believe it was. I'm thinking it was the Masters. That wasn't he. He was right there until the final round, and then he stuck one in a moat, and that was it.
Good for you, because I've at least paid attention to the leaderboards and all the majors. And
everybody's thinking Rory. Every tournament, it's Rory. That's all.
He's way back. He's 7 shots back.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is this guy?
He's one of these guys that is going to do very well for himself. He's always right there. Has a very smooth customer, very unimposing figure. It's not like you got Big John Rahm, me Sevi Ballesteros. So it's a guy just one of those skinny, nondescript guys that oh yeah, you're on the PGA Tour. Yeah, I've never heard of you. How come I never heard of you? You're Googling the fucking guy. Oh, you got 6 wins. Nice. But, wow, I feel like a schmuck because I think the guy is he's gonna go to distance in this. No,
I mean, I guess it's a Scottish, so maybe there's not a full field of like big time people, but I'm seeing plenty of names.
I think it's pretty prestigious stuff.
I'm seeing. I mean, you would think it's a prepper for the
Scotty Scheffler not in this tournament. Scotty Scheffler.
I will say I'm not seeing Scheffler, so that might be Hovland. I'm seeing McIlroy's in it.
Plenty of big time players, no doubt. I mean,
I've seen plenty of people I've heard of. They just. Molinari, they're just doing nothing.
Nothing. No, this guy's fucking in a walkover, and I'm sitting here scratching my ass. Unbelievable. All right, congrats do go out to Mike Mayo on having that $90. I think it was like $88 this horse paid. He was 30 to 1 morning line. Safi Joseph special in the Schuylerville, and so more Ratoga today. Later on today, we'll be out there at Gulfstream Park. Yes. And I believe that there is a conversation adrift there, Lubie, that Special K may meet us out there.
Really? Special K?
Special K has like a cousin who owns a horse who just won his last race at 4 to 5 at Gulfstream.
Okay.
And I believe is running today.
Okay.
So in one of the later races. So I don't know what we will be able to capitalize on that or not. But he does want to set us up an interview with the new basketball coach at FAU.
Oh yeah. Dusty May's in Michigan.
Dusty May, long gone, man.
So they go back to randoms? I don't even know
they hired a guy who I couldn't even begin to give you a picture of his name.
Look, we didn't know who Dusty May was either before he was hired again.
Yeah, I mean, had some credentials, so you'll see what happens with that. And I'll be real curious to see what happens with Dusty May in Michigan. What do you think? Can a guy come in there and make that much of a difference right away?
He brought a lot of his guys over.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah, and they were good with FAU. So and he did, I think, decent recruiting. And
imagine coming from FAU. I mean, I know Lane Kiffin was already a name guy, coached in the pros and at a high level in college. So it was no big deal for him to get a job coming off of FAU. But wow, I mean, Dusty May taking that FAU job. I don't know that you see Michigan as his next job. Do you?
Not from the
a
beginning.
program of that a level of distinction, I guess, in terms of college basketball, even if they sucked the last couple of years, right?
No, that's still Michigan is an elite program. Michigan basketball is a pretty solid program, and they had recent success even under Juwan Howard, and then he sort of fell off and lost his shit. But yeah, I mean, with Beeline before Howard, they were really good, and then he felt like they've been around pretty decent for a while, for a long time. They're a legit Big Ten power. Yes, it's weird to go from FU to that.
And he been on Al Geiberger, he said. Kid's got a sense of humor, man. It's great. I mean, no matter what, you talk about a guy that can, he should have gotten the Courage Award.
Yes.
From fucking ESPN last night. Never mind this Prince fucking Harry. Get out of here. All right, we're going to come back with more in a moment. A lot to discuss. It really was, though. I mean, to me, it was more of a shot fighter type of thing. I was just, I could hear Freddie Pacheco begging Ali, just don't go out there, Muhammad. No more fights. That's it.
Yeah.
As we were watching Joe B, because that mistake of mistaking Zelensky for Putin, I mean, it's pretty much like the time, I was telling you about the story with the first time I experienced this, and the last time I would never do this again, where you're asking somebody as, I mean, so when's the baby due after you just met his wife, and the guy says she's not pregnant, and you're like, oh fuck,
yeah, that's worse. And I don't know when these guys do that. I mean, Trump does it so much. It's like, okay, if they're gonna let him skate, then I don't give a shit. The reason the debate was bad, it wasn't the fucking flubs. I don't care about that. It was that he would go like silent. He would make the fucking bug eye
face. I mean, whoever did his makeup that night, my God,
he looked pale. He hasn't looked like that since. So I don't look. He mixes up. Supposedly he's done that for like 20 years. So the guy is literally a stuttering thing. He has a speech impediment. So I'm not gonna. The fact that he went for an hour with open reporters asking him questions.
I'm not sure how open those reporters were, though, Lubie. I mean, do you really believe that he didn't know what these questions were going to be? Yeah, I mean, he had a list of people that were going to ask the questions. It wasn't like he randomly went around and was going to be surprised or pulled over by something.
I don't.
So it was like, oh, okay, Joe, you were going to ask me about the Mets. It's kind of like, when I lose my train of thought on the show and you have to chime in and say, yeah. So what about the Yankees, Defo?
I don't know. It's funny. Mayo keeps saying I'm conspiracy guy. It feels like people are finding conspiracies to try and slam Joe Biden. It was a fucking presser. He didn't have a teleprompter. Reporters were asking questions. They were very biting questions. They were very persistent questions. And he answered all of them. And then he would take them and do some great fucking thing with foreign policy, naming countries and shit that I didn't even know we were involved with.
I wish he could be more animated, though. I mean, and he really isn't taking enough shots at Trump. He should be pounding Trump at every opportunity.
That's what people want. Yeah. Last night, the fact that everyone was watching and he went into the foreign policy.
This is not a time to be dignified, my friend.
I think that's what they needed to see last night. Yeah. I think after the debate, I think that was fucking great. And then he'll go back on the campaign trail and he'll slam Trump. I mean,
he needs to go Nick Saban on the officials, with regard to Trump. Right? And just start cursing and swearing and, being overwhelmingly demonstrative about what's really at stake here, which is that, okay, you may think I'm senile, but look at the other option there. It's not pleasant.
I mean, he's the way he does it is he did it last night when they were talking about, they brought up again, you doing this and doing that. And he's like, I've been literally after the debate, which was a disaster, I've been full bore every day with full events every day. Look at Trump. He's been on his golf cart looking at his.
No, he has no plan whatsoever.
He does stuff like that. That's what Biden does. I mean, people want himself. To be Obama. He's not Obama. He's Biden, and he's always been Biden. And right now,
if I was at the pace of Joe Biden in terms of walking on the walk of life, do you think I would be able to make it for post time for the Mayo show if I left at 9:00? I don't know. Be rough. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We've been trying to do this for a little while here, but we keep schlubbering on about the. It is fascinating what the hell's going on, regardless of your position, and frightening at the same time. So we'll be back with more in a moment. Now that
the time
it's 8:50.
Here, let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched, steaks hand cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Mr. Pentangeli, were you a member of the Corleone family? Did you serve under Capo regime under Vito Corleone, also known as the Godfather?
I never knew no Godfather.
Mr. Pentangeli, you are contradicting a sworn statement you previously made to me and signed. I ask you again, sir, here and now under oath, were you at any time a member of a crime organization headed by Michael Corleone?
I don't know nothing about that. Oh, I was in the olive oil business with his father, but that was a long time ago, that's all.
We have a sworn affidavit. We have it. Your sworn affidavit that you murdered on the orders of Michael Corleone. Do you deny this confession?
Look, the FBI guys, they promised me a deal. So I made up a lot of stuff about Michael Corleone, because that's what they wanted. But it was all lies. Everything. And I kept saying, Michael Corleone did this, and Michael Corleone did that. So I said, yeah, sure. Why not?
It's now time for the Defo Show.
I always dig a little Pentangeli testimony here. I think we also have to break out the clips again from Bananas from many years ago. Yeah. As we approach the election, just to forewarn people about what's going to take place if it goes red. All right, later on today, we'll be out at Gulfstream Park. That's going to be fun. We do have, and Mayo's got a pocket full of money, so that's good. I'm hoping, Andy, if you're available, come on out there, man. We'll buy you a cheeseburger.
Yeah, come on.
On the track's dime, and that's always good. We'll be there at 10 Palms at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and that's. It's almost as if, have you ever had a time where you hadn't eaten for, well, you've done your fasting, Lubie? I don't know. When you break out of that thing, what do you do? Go straight to 2J's? How do you
we do
deal with that?
Bagels and lox at the house, and I used to get pizza because bagels and lox isn't enough for me. But yeah, it would be 2J style food at the house.
Have you actually ever in your lifetime been hungry where you were thinking, man, I got to eat something?
Yes.
I'm ready to pass out here.
Often.
And felt it, felt actual hunger. I remember when I first moved to California, it was probably the most that I experienced that when my buddy and I, we had no money left. And we literally, I don't think we had eaten for a couple of days. And we took this job in this junkyard. It was like a day pay job where you go and you line up and they just send you wherever. So they sent us to this junkyard where this guy had us moving the heaviest shit that I've ever lifted in my lifetime. All awkward stuff too. Like giant toilet bowls and engines and all kinds of crazy shit. And he needed this area cleared out. And my buddy and I, we were kind of weak at the time there because we hadn't eaten. And then we're doing this all day, and we finally finish it. I'm like fucking starving. Unfortunately, they paid us right there.
Oh, nice.
And we had enough money to go to the store, and we ended up. We didn't have a ton of capital, but we ended up getting an Italian bread and a jar of ragu. mean, it was literally like straining aquavelva through bread, but you would have thought we were at Casa D'Angelo, man. That's how good that shit was.
Ever, yeah, exactly.
Absolutely great. Dead broken hungry. I mean, I don't know. I mean, has everybody gotten there at some point in time, or are we fortunate enough for the most part to have never had that
In
experience?
adulthood, I've gotten financially where I'm real low.
Yeah, we've been creamed many times.
I always have food. I will say
Yeah.
that. I always have enough to have food, I guess. College, I got there a few times where, like, I remember it was a winter break and I was working at like Target and
Yeah.
I hadn't gotten my check and I was down to like $2 in my account and my parents have always been broke. So I literally was like, I don't know how I'm eating food tonight.
You couldn't do one of those typical ma.
I didn't have a credit card. No, my
And
parents
money.
had money to give me.
This is in Tallahootch too, right?
Yeah, I was in Tallahassee, and I was coming home for winter break, so it was like I just needed my first check to come in, and I guess I had mismanaged numbers, and I remember I had like some stupid ass number in my account where you couldn't even go to McDonald's, and I was like, fuck, and I didn't have credit cards,
Yeah.
so I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I remember that, and I think I always had some bullshit in my house, so
There's always something, right?
Ever like yeah.
I mean, you can't go hungry if you're doing the Mayo Lunchbox Show. That's for sure. I mean, we've been eating like we're going to the chair the last couple of days, right? Heritage, Batch Southern Kitchen yesterday, man, that stuff was great. Those, I never would think that I would be craving like the taste of a biscuit. Would you, Lubie? Never.
I like biscuits, but I agree with you. It's not like because most biscuits are disappointing. They're like,
Yes, they're usually dry as a bone and tasteless.
don't have a lot of flavor. You usually have to do a lot of shit to them.
Right.
And then all you do is taste the stuff because the biscuit itself is yes.
And then they bring them out. It's like on fire. I mean, just perfect temperature, just hot enough to give you the feeling that obviously it came out of the oven just in the last couple of minutes, and then on top of it, but not so much that you burn like the whole roof of your mouth when you do this thing. And then the butter melts in there. Unbelievable. So that was big. I don't know. I might have eaten like 7 of those yesterday. I was just like shovel them in my face.
You're good. You ate the corn shit. The corn thing.
Oh, the corn thing was good. Yeah, I did notice that this morning when I was reading my New York Post. Do you find that true when you have corn and then you subsequently have a bowel movement the next day? Not that we really want to get into this examination of bowel movements, but then you go, when did I have corn? Oh yeah, it was at Lubie's barbecue, man.
Oh my god, that's funny.
It's true though, right? I mean, it's graphically disgusting, but it's true.
Yeah.
All right. So now we have baseball coming up to the weekend before the All-Star game, and that's interesting. Did Bronny James do anything last night? Was he on the court again last night, or was that just
they played the Heat and he did nothing? And the Heat guys looked good 2 days.
That was a couple of days ago. Yeah, he had 3 points. It's an interesting story. I mean, because of the fact that they invested the money in him to that level.
Well, that's the thing. It's not that the second round pick stuff. I agree with people that thought that was weird to analyze it. It was a 55th pick. I don't care. Do what's wrong with the 55th pick.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to take, I understand it. I actually think it's a good story. I'm glad that we have it to follow. Although, it's going to be, I think, unfortunate because Bronny James probably is not going to look like much of an NBA player in his first year.
As much as he's LeBron's son, so he may be around the roster. He's a G League. I mean, he screams G League. Like the guy in summer league where you're playing against players is the worst of them. Like he's just okay.
He's 3 for 12 shooting the basketball so far.
Well, and it's not even like he's great on defense. He's fine on defense at times, but I mean, like guys like Keshad Johnson, who was
somebody just blew by him. There was a clip of Bronny James playing D.
No, they're killing him. I mean, he's not.
Yeah, he's just, and I'm watching. I'm going, my God, that looked like me playing D on this guy.
Yeah, he's just not there. He's going to be a G League guy, or they may keep him around because they are guaranteeing it.
I think they have to give him a roster spot the way they made this deal.
But he's borderline G. I mean, he's a guy that's like you'll see him play when they're annihilating teams, maybe or getting blown out. He's not a guy you can put in games. He's not.
I mean, it would be cool to see LeBron get a dunk on a fast break off a alley-oop type of pass from midcourt from Bronny. That'd be kind of fun. It's interesting. I mean, think about it. Who is it more of a tribute to? Because the fact that LeBron James is still around to play NBA level basketball while having a son old enough to be in the NBA is fairly incredible. It really is. But beyond that, I mean, the hype versus productivity, this Dalton Connect had like a monster game against the Heat. No mention of the guy's name. You wouldn't even know he was a Laker. Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't see. I caught the end when it actually became a game and it was close, and I watched the Heat find a way to win. I didn't see Connect or Bronny do anything. So I was like, okay, whatever.
I mean, it's kind of like the fascination with Caitlin Clark to a degree, and yet on a completely different level, right? Because you're, and I would root for the kid to be good. I really would. It would be, to be the butt of every joke after playing and getting to the point where you were even almost an NBA player. I mean, you still have to be a pretty incredible basketball player to reach that level. We shall see. Maybe he blossoms. What does he become, like the next Jalen Brunson? This guy?
Oh God.
No. Well,
I mean, Brunson was if not great in college, was really good in college, and even as I guess a second round pick was going to be in the league. You just didn't know you didn't know he'd be a top 10, 15 player in the league, but he'd be in the league. Bronny, he's like 2 years of seasoning just to even be a rotation player at this point.
Couple of quick things, just real quickly here. The Marlins, we need to go 47-22 the rest of the way. 47-22. They have 69 games left to push on our 79 total. So that was something that we couldn't have been more right about. Jazz Chisholm, supposedly rumors that Yankees want to pick him up as an infielder.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, that's when he was at his best. That's when he showed flashes. That's when he earned a cover. That's when he got a cover of the goddamn video game. I mean, it was weird to do what they did. It was stupid to do what they did. I don't know if he would have still been great either way, but he's never been comparable. Like, at least he showed flashes and you're like, okay, yeah, I know he made that great catch the other day and hit a home run.
Yeah.
But he's more bad than good at this point. Like when he was an infielder, that was the problem with him then, was he was always hurt. But when he played well. He played well. He just missed like 80% of the time.
It's been a disappointment, though. You would have to say. I mean, by now he should be, a much better contact hitter, and maybe even with, I don't know that you're always looking for home run power numbers out of this guy, but he should be getting extra base hits and running the bases real well and be a more exciting player. I believe that. If he was what he was cranked up to be by Mike Hill in that interview, when the guy literally started drooling on our table, we had to put a bib on the fucking guy when he was talking about Sixto Sanchez and Jazz Chisholm. Yes. Monty Kiffin checked out, the father of Lane Kiffin, legendary football coach, defensive mind. I mean, credited with a lot of things. What exactly is? I mean, if I said, "Hey, Lubie, give me the Tampa 2," what is that? I mean, is it not what every team plays, right? Where they got two safeties back there in the middle of the field?
Yeah, I think it's
what the fuck is that?
But Ken's good at the shit. I don't know actual like schematics when it comes to football. Like, I don't understand.
Oh, well, what's different? I don't know. Is there something so odd about it? Unusual? I mean, Jimmy Johnson used to stack the line of scrimmage with like 9 linebackers. But. The Tampa 2 seems like it's fairly simplistic, doesn't it? I mean, it's almost as if it was by position design that you're going to have 2 guys back there. They're called safeties for a reason, are they not, Lubie? Or does it involve cornerbacks? Do we know? What exactly is the Tampa 2?
I think it's a zone of some kind, and it's about the safeties. But I don't really...
If you ask 100 sportscasters to explain the Tampa 2, which would seem like a very simple thing, it's almost like explaining the weave. The most simplistic of strategies. Could 50 of them do it, Lubie? What do you think? Within reason, where you go, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. What do you think, Lubie?
I guess. I mean, I don't. It's just coming. Look,
you got 2 guys here. I mean, how would it go?
Figures it out, and they all copy it. But the first guy to do it usually gets a lot of acclaim because they took chances other people weren't willing to do. Look, Monty Kiffin was. Brilliant defensive mind, and the Bucks, who had nothing on offense at the time, should have made a Super Bowl or maybe possibly won a Super Bowl, and they eventually did win the Super Bowl. I don't even know if he was a DC anymore when they won the Super Bowl. That guy was, and he did it for years and years and years, and he then helped his son in college. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, 84 is a decent number, but as we know,
I'm looking for a better number at this point. At 73, I'm really looking to go past 84.
Yeah, look,
I'm not sure it's happening, but I want to get past there.
My buddy's grandmother making 99 is like, okay.
Like, gosh, yeah. That's 99. Wow.
And that's possible. And she was actually pretty honest.
Doable, yeah, it's doable.
She was pretty honest. Look, Jersey's dad at 90 still drives.
Jersey's father is, still at his fighting weight. He's unbelievable, and he's ready to throw some punches. I mean, if a brawl broke out at the bar, he'd be in there swinging at 94.
It makes 84 young to me. And
yeah.
I would definitely look higher than that. And it is sad. He was from what I know, a good dude, Monty Kiffin, and he really knew his football.
Seemed like it, yeah. And he was working with Lane Kiffin, so he was still active, believe it or not, right up until his dying day, as he was still an assistant coach with Kiffin at where is he? Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin. Bill Belichick going to be on a TV show as an analyst on the CW. I didn't realize they even did this. They have Inside the NFL. Bill Belichick going to be part of the panel. Supposedly brilliant. And everybody was saying that if you were going to listen to somebody on the draft, it would have been Belichick's commentary. I know maybe that's why the professor didn't join us, because he thought we might drop this item in there. But supposedly, a great listen and analyst, and we'll see. You would think he might have. Did he not want a more prominent role? You would think that with the money they're doling out for color analysts these days, wouldn't you have just snapped up Belichick? I would have canceled my thing with Brady and gone with Belichick, wouldn't you? If I thought he was going to say something.
Well, Belichick supposedly is great. I can't watch him. I'm actually on the Ken. It's like Trump. That's the funny thing is now Trump's so bad that I'll just watch the clips just because. It's like you really are worried about Biden. Trump, and I'm like, okay.
No, Trump is a lunatic. There's no doubt. Anybody that's looking at this and see, I didn't care. I never thought that Trump would be elected president, but I wasn't a fan of his. I mean, he's the type of guy that I run away from. Where a guy's always telling you that he's smarter than you are, that he's richer than you are, that he's got more than you have, that he's always flaunting it. On top of that, not that I totally disapprove of being a moral pig, but in the fashion that Trump did it. I mean, to then turn around and claim that you are a pillar of ethical and moral integrity is a little bit off base, is it not? I mean, just say, hey, people wouldn't have been mad at Tiger for banging a Perkins waitress if he just came clean about it, right?
Yeah, well, no. Anyway, I'm not even worried about Trump. I was just saying, I have a vitriol for him that I normally can't even watch him speak. Belichick's in that vein. I hate Belichick so much.
Oh, you do? Okay, so you can't watch him.
Saban's the same thing. Saban will come on and actually be pretty good as an analyst.
Yeah, Saban's not bad.
I just can't. I can't disassociate.
It's that look, that smarmy fucking insufferable look that Nick Saban has on his face.
It actually annoys me as someone who's been in the media for now 20 years, going back to my college days, that he's actually fun in the clubhouse. Okay, so be fun here. You're worth millions. You're a legendary coach, especially at the end when he was like, you're still being a douche. Get the fuck. What are we going to say to you that's going to ruin your fucking team's chances at winning? Nothing. You're so fucking great. What can we do? So you're just being a jerk to be a jerk. Just answer. You can be great when they're paying you. Be great now. They're paying you. I think it's
being a jerk though saves you a lot of time.
It's fine, and I get these guys don't like it. Then suddenly they become medium. And Bobby Knight, they've all done it now. Bill Parcells all hated the media. And then they go, to me, it's like, okay, if you have it in you, just do it now. It's fucking 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Fucking do it. That's my problem with guys like that. And I actually like Popovich, but that's why he used to annoy me. Because
it doesn't take much to be nice to people, though. Even people that you have little respect for, if that happens to be the case with a coach in the press. What does it really take? And you know what's funny? The most, the most simple of gestures and or, considerations are so greatly and overwhelmingly appreciated by the press that they then become a fan for life, right? Tommy Lasorda was like that. I mean, and he actually was underrated as a manager because people thought of him more as a character and as a celebrity than they did as a baseball manager. But I think Tommy Lasorda, if you follow him, was a really good manager until late in his career, he was falling asleep in a dugout there, right? You may as well have had Miller Huggins in the dugout.
He did real interviews and he answered I don't know. Belichick, he's probably amazing as an analyst because he does the things he never would do in interviews. But I can't. To me, it's like, okay.
It's going to be tough for you. I understand it.
Why didn't you do it? Well, why would you give everyone? If a guy is stupid, then you should be smarter than him. Take his stupid ass question and answer it. Who the fuck on? I just think it's
hockey guys were like that here when they didn't want to answer questions when things were going south for the Panthers, and they would just give you the whole thing. Well, you guys don't know nothing about the game here. What the fuck?
Okay, so then you school me.
Well, help me out there. Huh?
Teach me. Yeah. If it's such a sophisticated game where you need to be a goddamn
a genius,
you need to be a goddamn rocket scientist. Yeah. Show me if you're so fucking smart and I'm so stupid. I'll never get over Belichick.
All right. He's going to be on something called Inside the NFL on the CW network. I believe it includes Chad Ochocinco, one of your favorites, actually, because you ran into him just impromptu at a blues club in San Francisco. How about that? How many people can make that claim, Luby? You, me, and we were the only other people in the club that night, right? See the great Chris Kane. It was relatively empty there, and you were like infatuated with the idea that, hey, that's Chad Ochocinco. We want to ask him to come on the
New
show.
Orleans. Yeah, New Orleans.
No, that was in San Francisco.
San Francisco. It was in a jazz blues.
A blues club, yeah.
Famous
place out there.
It was New Orleans or
in
France. Yeah. Yep.
All right, we got to run. We're babbling away here, and we have to get to the track. I know
and
Louis
apologizes. He missed his alarm, which I was like shocked.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll do something with the
He had
professor
a
next
big
week.
board idea that was classic, so he's going to do it next week.
And I'd love to see him address the ESPYs at some point.
Oh, thanks.
On the big board.
No,
all right, thanks for Vladimir Putin. I'm Jeff DeForest, and it's great being with you. We'll see you at 1 o'clock. Mike Mail's Lunchbox. Toga. I don't know. I'm making my first wager at Toga. It's almost like having sex for the first time. I mean, I guess it's an annual affair here.
But it goes well. I wish you luck.
I think I blew my wad before I got there.
That thing doesn't seem to go well.
Yeah, there's a parallel there, maybe. Because, Mustang handed me a little bit of capital there and says, put what you want in the bank. I'm like, well, I'll probably just keep it all. All right. We'll see you next time as we'll be back again on Tuesday. Louie's got some family business to attend to on Monday. Making sure that Shirley gets on the plane. That's always a good idea, Luby. I respect the fact you're driving her to the airport because this way you're pretty much assured that she went. And you're not going to have to worry that she's going to surprise you by coming back to the house as you're there carrying on in some fashion that would be hard to explain. All right, we'll see you next time as we leave you know that. You ready, Libby? You got the button? Go ahead.
Time.
It's 9:12.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my show.